there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes. This is where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers, the astrology and numerology, and the forecast is for all signs. We're focusing on the Scorpio new moon on November 13th, and this new moon will fall somewhere in your astrology birth chart in one of your houses. It may even create connections or aspects to some of your planets. Either way, you are going to be impacted. New moons are always about new beginnings, and as it happens, November in the numerology code is a 9 universal month, which is all about endings. And so November will really facilitate a shift in many ways, because when you have beginnings and endings merged, there is going to be some kind of rebirth. There is life, death, rebirth, and that is echoed in the astrology as well. So the sun and moon will be at 20 degrees, both in Scorpio, and that creates a 2020 code, which symbolically gives us 2020 perfect vision. So we will be able to see things that we can't unsee. In other words, 2020 allows us to see the truth. And Scorpio, if anything, stands for that Scorpio stinger, going directly to the source, to whatever was not seen, what is undercover, what has been secret. That's what Scorpio rules, is the unconscious, the unseen, and it will make it visible. And here's the thing, the sun and moon, making up the new moon, are conjunct, creating a stellium with Mars. And Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, and we'll get to those in a moment. But this is a very pivotal moment because Mars feels very comfortable in Scorpio, and Mars will help the energy to uncover what is beneath the surface. Mars is very direct, and Mars always likes having a goal. And so whatever has been hidden will be seen much more clearly. So the flip side of Mars is that it can be aggressive. So we need to be very aware of the propensity during this time to possibly lash out, right? So instead of being impatient or aggressive, we need to just use the courage that Mars has to uncover and to do something, to act on it, because Mars represents truly action. Now, Pluto also figures in, and we'll get to Pluto in a minute because Pluto is the co-ruler, but I want to mention one more transit because the sun and moon are also opposite Uranus, and it's almost an exact opposition. Uranus represents freedom, revolution, unforeseen sudden events that come out of the blue. It represents inspiration and a sense of liberation that comes from thinking outside the box. And this is almost an exact opposition, as I said. So a lot of energy is being stirred up as a result. There is an emotional excitability because Scorpio is a water sign, and water signs really feel deeply. And like I said, Uranus also governs revolution. So again, you want to guard against impulsive action or reaction, rather focus on liberation that is not aggressive. So Mars is independent, Uranus is about freedom, there is liberation throughout this new moon, and it is new beginnings as well. Mars rules Aries, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So Mars is in charge of new beginnings. So as we navigate this powerful energy, we need to make sure we do listen. Remember, Uranus, the opposition to the new moon is Uranus, is all about acute listening, the intuition, the ability to hear your intuitive voice, your heart speak through you. So be sure to not rush into things. You will move quickly, but you don't want to rush. So the air is being cleared, in other words, and we want to be very flexible around this time. We want to be very open to change, which Uranus governs, is tremendous change, which is why it governs revolution. And we want to be very open to redirection, new decisions, being super aware of what actually appears and not avoiding that or not being apathetic to it, because Mars, like I said, really wants to act on what appears. So we want to accept and then we want to act. There's a lot of unexpected energy, a lot of exciting developments. You'll be motivated to make changes and you'll be able to adapt much more easily to surprises, to unforeseen circumstances, because we have arrived at a pivotal juncture in human history. And that pivotal juncture really began in October. I call it the big split that's happening on Earth. And the big split really reveals a life that is mostly aligned to lower vibrational energies or higher vibrational energies. These are frequencies that you naturally align with. And as the awakening process happens, which is rapidly happening now, we have a choice of which frequency to align with, the lower or the higher. So why do I say it was activated in October? Well, October is when we had the eclipse cycle. We had two eclipses, one in Taurus with the sun opposite in Scorpio. So Scorpio was already activated in October, and a Libra new moon eclipse, a solar eclipse. Both of those signs, Taurus and Libra, are ruled by Venus. And Venus is the flip side of Mars, right? Y'all heard of Mars and Venus. And so Venus represents what is pleasant, what is beautiful, what is kind, what is loving. And Mars is action and courage and going for it. So it's like reception and action. And so a Venus-themed eclipse cycle means we, in particular, when both eclipses are ruled by the same planet, it sends a sign about that planet. Venus is peace. So as the ruler of Taurus and Libra, there is a sense of needing to communicate, diplomacy, which is Libra, and Taurus is all about security and peace. So, in addition, also in October, what happened is Pluto changed direction. Pluto moved direct early in October, and Pluto rules Scorpio, and Pluto rules empowerment, disempowerment, control, or taking control of others. Pluto is about life, death, rebirth. It governs destruction and then rebuilding. So there is a major theme of transformation with Pluto. Also in October, we were in an 8 universal month. I already explained that. November is a 9 universal month. October was an 8. And 8 is the number of leadership, power, control, money, abundance. So, the energy basically that runs the world. And in 2024, we will be in a year that is governed by the number 8. 2024 adds up to 8. So October was like the birth of energy that is truly a major awakening energy. So if you watch this forecast, you do know that Pluto has been moving back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius, and it is about to leave Capricorn for good in 2024. So it is literally pivoting between 0 degrees Aquarius and 29 degrees Capricorn next year. That's a huge shift. And it actually is the beginning of a major shift that continues in 2025 with other planets. So 2024 is a pivotal year for that reason, due to the dynamics of the code, what Pluto symbolizes, what the number 8 symbolizes. And now we have this number 8 and Pluto both activated in the past month of October. Remember, Pluto rules Scorpio. So now we're in this November month with this new moon. And what are we feeling more and more? Well, the number 8 represents the top and the bottom are like two windows to the soul. We have what is visible, what is invisible. We have light and dark, up and down, high vibrational, low vibrational. And we always need to be aware of that polarity, right? We live on Earth and we have night and day. So polarity is part of our life, and we always make choices based on what feels good and what doesn't, etc. So October brought to the forefront this polarity of light and dark, which is vital for us to feel life, what is actually vital for life itself, night and day, sun and moon, and also for growth. And without the awareness of both the high and low vibrations, we don't actually have the capacity to see both forces, both frequencies at work and experience what feels low vibrational in order to know the difference and choose what is for our highest good. So October really put that into motion. So that's when the huge energy shift, what I call the big split, the opening our hearts to feel that more intensely than ever began. Eclipse cycle was key to that as well, as I explained. Now there's a change in the wind and a massive awakening. And when massive darkness is taking place, it is a true opportunity for many, many, many people to raise their consciousness. So you are feeling this shift. The outer conditions are jarring and they are meant to awaken so we clear the air personally within us. And that is what storms do. Storms clear the air. They scatter seeds. We need storms to scatter seeds. It is part of nature. Seeds are scattered to nourish the soil for better things ahead. And so it's vital to keep focusing our frequency on inner peace, on compassion, on understanding, on wisdom. And that way we are emboldened rather than helpless. And it is the helpless part of our background that Pluto represents by moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius. Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years starting the end of 2024. It will not return to Capricorn for a couple centuries, more than a couple centuries. Pluto represents being in power, and I mean empowered, not power over others. So during this time of tremendous awakening, of storms, we are now, through our tears as well, those tears are feelings we have that are healing and purging and ultimately inspiring. We can see more goodness at the same time. As the dark appears, the light appears even stronger. We can see more goodness than ever before. We will recognize goodness more quickly, precisely because the contrast is so great. And in the midst of it all, we feel protected, divinely protected. The number 8 that was activated in October and continues throughout 2024 is the symbol of infinity. It is the symbol of the eternal energy that never stops. It is the only number that you can draw without lifting your pen to redraw it. So it reaches multiple dimensions. It is about the timelessness, eternity. It gives you multiple perspectives because it keeps spiraling. And it resembles a chain as well, the number 8. So the interlocking circles of the 8, they literally create a chain of eternal moments. And they unfold forever and ever, and they're connected infinitely. So every moment reverberates in all directions of this chain. Every moment presents you with a choice on how you want to vibrate, how you want to reverberate. What vibration do you want to align with? Truth, compassion, healing, abundance, freedom, kindness, caring, or separation, lack, judgment, cruelty, apathy, limitation, fear. The lighter you feel, the more uplifted you feel by the trust in the goodness of life that shall prevail, the more you shine a light in the darkness. So having faith is absolutely vital now. Since that light and dark are being made more visible than ever before, and that is also part of the internet, the interconnection that we feel to each other. It is important to acknowledge the existence of both, especially within us, because that's where all change begins. The only change begins within you. So it's important to acknowledge the existence of both in order, by virtue of seeing both, to not engage with what is low vibrational. And by allowing yourself to align with love and compassion and choosing that consistently, you will easily and quickly recognize who is kind-hearted and means the best for all in their decision-making process. And you will be able to see the split itself, the split between low vibrational choice of life and high vibrational choice of life. So what's super important is to not judge others and not judge yourself, because your beliefs are being challenged. We are splitting from past beliefs. They can be about anything or anyone. Our eyes are being opened. We are being stimulated by the curiosity, which is also represented by this powerful exact opposition to Uranus. And so we're able to see more clearly. We're able to be ingenious. We're able to think outside the box. We're able to see who is what, who is who, and what is what. And this clarity allows us to recognize light and dark in a split second, because our intuitive awareness is so acute. Without that clarity, you would operate on insufficient information, on a lack of wisdom. So be very open to learning now. In 2024, the number 8 will be front and center. Pluto will be front and center. The 8 universal year coinciding with Pluto's final push out of Capricorn, which represents the establishment, the past, leadership, right? It represents all of that, and move into the sign of freedom and revolution and inspiration and innovation. This is ushering in the Aquarian age more than any other event has so far. And so we are now at that moment. And so it is time for us to join together and welcome that new energy by staying high vibrational. Because the more of us band together and acknowledge that high vibrational path in everything we do, every decision we make, everything we speak, how we speak, how we show up, whether it is for our daily chores, whether it is for work, whether it is with family, whether it is with health, how do we show up? We want to be informed, educated, and come with an open heart in order to serve the light, not the dark. So I do have an event that I will be hosting on 12/12, December 12th, and it is all about what is actually going to transpire next year in advance. So it'll be a 3+ hour event plus Q&A. You can watch a short video about it at 2024forecast.com. And basically it's a virtual event. You will join me, and if you can't join me, you'll get the live stream the next day, and it'll be available to you for 12 months. But basically all it is you waking up to the astrology and numerology major pivot points next year. Plus you will receive gifts that you'll be able to use all year long. So for all that info, go to 2024forecast.com. Enjoy that free video, and by all means, keep your heart open, be courageous, and be at peace. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you in next week's Star Codes podcast. Lots of love.